going bye-bye yesterday. And a couple unexpected ones. Steven, yeah, I'll be honest, the migraine is gone. Still got a little pressure in between the ears, but nothing little Flonase can't get rid of. But yeah, the migraine is definitely gone. Thank you. Yeah, it was good to go to bed early yesterday. Illinois going home. The shocker. The shocker. Making me a little butthurt yesterday with the Fighting Illini just getting trashed. Baylor kept it interesting until the end, giving Wisconsin a chance, and then they just pulled right ahead. Thank you, Lord, that one went over. As expected, Syracuse sending good old West Virginia home. Arkansas, as expected, sending Texas Tech home. Houston, barely squeaking by at the very, very, very end. I was not lying. I was rooting for Houston. We had a play on Houston and the over, knowing that, needing overtime. I was hoping for overtime. Couldn't get it. But I was definitely hoping, knowing that Houston wasn't going to cover the spread. I was hoping they'd lose outright and we'd send another 2 home. Marlon says you found Kyle's migraine. You just watched Rutgers and Texas Tech just quit. I had Houston laying 10, and I knew we weren't covering that. I knew that bet was a loser. And I was hoping Rutgers would pull it off. I really was. But how about fucking Florida? Florida. You rat bastards. Florida. Winning the entire game down the stretch. Falling apart, collapsing late, and allowing Oral Roberts to take over and win by 3. Villanova doing work, sending North Texas home as expected. And the Beavs. The fucking Beavs. The Beavs yesterday. Wow. The damn Beavs yesterday. Getting another win. Unbelievable. 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 That's a little bit of whack madness. Round 2 continues today. Who's going to go home after today? Where are the upsets going to be? 7 versus 2 this morning. Here in an hour and a half. Oregon and Iowa. Can Oregon hang with that big boy? We're going to go over that. We're going to talk about Oregon and how they don't take care of business when playing somebody with a big man. Kind of like USC and them getting toppled earlier in the season. Gonzaga laying 14.5 against Oklahoma. Can the 8th seed of the Sooners Topo Gonzaga, last of a dying breed. Am I hedging Kansas? No, I couldn't hedge it. Here's the reason why. I have a big futures bet on USC as well at plus 10,000. So I've got the equivalent of plus 5,000 on Kansas to win 44 when it's all said and done, and then I have plus 10,000 to win 50K on USC. So no hedge bet. But even if I didn't have a bet on a futures bet on USC, and I didn't do that on purpose. It's just the way that the brackets worked, unfortunately. But even if I did, no, not in this round. If you hedge in the second round with less than a 10,000, a plus 10,000 or more, even plus 10,000, I'd have to do the math. You're probably going to end up on the wrong side of being profitable. I can do the math real quick, and if I hedge just to break even, not even to show a profit, if I hedge just to break even, I mean, I could with I could theoretically with the plus 10,000. And I guess I might be able to with the round one. I mean, with the round two. Taking a look at it. If I bet to win 500, for instance, on USC, which I wouldn't because I have a futures on them. Their money line is minus 117, so you'd be risking a little over 550, 585. And then you'd have to put to win 1,000 in the second round. And then you'd have to, the Sweet 16 would to be 1,000, and then 3,000 on this Elite 8, and then 6 on the Final 4, which would be 9,500 plus a little bit of juice, depending on how big of a favorite or a dog they were. So if you're at plus 10,000, you could, at plus 5,000 on Kansas, it would be the same thing basically. I'd give away, and then obviously you'd have to hedge the championship. If you hedge all that way, you'd have to hedge the championship. So I'd be looking at, I mean, theoretically I could, or you could if you're on the same thing, but I have a futures on USC, so I'll wait and see. But obviously, if I get to the next one, I probably will. More than likely. It would be hard. I mean, even in the next one, it would still be hard, if you're wanting to hedge to show a profit. If you're wanting to hedge just to cover your 500, like for me, 500 on USC to win 50K. If I wanted to actually show a profit, in the next, say USC Wednesday and they went to the next round, and assuming that they're favored, which they probably won't be, unless they're playing Oregon, they won't be favored. If they're playing Iowa, I don't think they'll be favored. I think they'll be catching a point or two. But even if I wanted to, let's just say, win 2,000 in the next round and I started hedging, you'd have to bet to win 2, then you'd have to bet to win 4. Then you have 6,000 invested, so you'd have to bet to risk 12. Then you have 18,000 already invested in hedges. And then in the championship, you'd have to risk 36,000. So I'd have 36,000 out there on a hedge that would ultimately give me $2,000 profit if I lost my main bet. But if I won my main bet, I'd be winning 13,500, which I guess that's, versus, or actually 1,500 profit versus 13,500. Rather than do that, I'd rather just take a stab. Taking a stab, because I've got a future on either one, but I'd rather just take a stab and hope that they advance to the Elite Eight. If they advance to the Elite Eight, now we're talking, you could hedge either one of them, and guarantee a decent profit. But you can go from 2 to 4,000, and then 4 to, you'd have 6, so you go to 12,000 on the other one. You can make yourself a profit on either one. So it's just more of a feel out thing, and obviously you want to guarantee profit, but to have to actually know that I might have to hedge $36,000 just to make 1,500. I only have 500 invested. I'll roll another round. But yeah, you could definitely do it, but you'd be giving up, your profit. Even if I went just to break even, if I did it if I did it starting in the next round, you do 500, then I'd have to do 1,000, then I'd have to do 3,000. It'd be 500, 1,000, 3,000, and then I'd have to do 3, 4, 9,000. So I'd have 9, 12, 13. I'd have 13.5 just to break even over a $500 wager versus let it roll an extra round. Nick Hill says, I want to go big today in the NBA games. We've got some great NBA games on the board today. Ernie says, good morning, Kyle. Evan, Oklahoma versus... I had Mavericks laying 2. So sorry to hear. That's no good. J-Rock, we're going to go over that. How many people in here... April 1st, Nick Hill. Baseball officially starts for Major League Baseball April 1st. Friday, Japanese baseball, by the way. Friday, Japanese baseball. Japanese baseball system plays will be starting Friday. How many people in here actually follow the Pac-12? How many people follow the Pac-12 extensively? Know the teams, follow the teams, bet on the teams, religiously. I'm going to say that there's probably a few, J-Rock, from the West Coast out in Arizona, myself. There's a lot of people that don't follow the Pac-12 extremely extensively. Nick Hill, any packages? We don't have any special... The only thing different for baseball is our system plays. Which is a standalone package, and it's actually the early bird special going on, but it's going to be ending shortly. It's $500 off. It's $1,000 for the entire season of our system plays. But other than that, premium plays will have baseball. My personal plays will have baseball as well. NBA can be extremely tough. You got to pick and choose your spots. We've been rock solid with the NBA as of late, and you definitely have to pick your spots wisely, that's for sure. Shane says, I really like Kansas at plus 100. Nathan, yeah, a lot of people think that just because the teams come from the East that, they're going to end up pounding a West Coast Pac-12 school. But it's not generally the case. I think the damn... And I hate to keep saying this, but I hate, the damn Beavs. The damn Beavs. Damn Beavers. Keep getting the job done. They keep getting the job done. Pretty sure odds that the Rockets win another game this season, they'll get one somewhere along the line. They'll get one somewhere along the line. If you're looking for our daily free play video, it's already out. It was just posted just not too long ago. J-Rock, exactly. The Beavers in Oklahoma State shows what happens when one team makes free throws and the other doesn't. Free throw shooting is extremely important, especially this time of year. Blaze Towns fan wants to know McKinley Wright will go pro or is he too short? We've seen some short ones in the NBA. Thomas, March Madness has been whack. We can just call it the whack madness. That's for sure. William tuning in via text. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ernie says, how the hell do these college teams play horrible defense? I think they just forget how to play. And it's been happening a lot lately. A lot. Ernie says they're all about scoring, scoring, and scoring. Yeah, definitely wanting to shine on the court, but I think in one of these rounds coming up, the teams that start playing defensively will really start locking down their opportunity to win it all. And what I mean by that is some of these teams, they just don't play defense at all. Plain and simple. USC is capable of playing defense, but their defense is suspect. We already know Iowa's defense is suspect. Kansas had rock solid defense to end their second half of their season. But where it went in their last game is beyond me. Kansas's defense went by the wayside in their last round. Some of these teams need to step up on their defense. UCLA lacking defense. Just popping up all the matches right here, all the games that we have today. And if you're talking defenses, Florida State ranks 25th overall. Believe it or not, USC ranks 8th. Kansas is 10th. Unfortunately, they're both going to be going at it today. The one part about the USC defense that I don't like is their lack of creating turnovers on defense. I think it's like 17.3%, if I remember correctly. Kansas's defense is very well rounded, especially based on competition and schedule. And I mean, Alabama's defense is ranked second. Maryland is ranked 27th overall. Now, Alabama's last game, they held Iona to 55, but again, come on, it's Iona. Nick Hill says every capper is copying Kyle, same content. What are they copying? You don't have to name who it is, but I'm curious, what are they copying? You know, they gave up 79 to LSU, 68 to Tennessee. Alabama's defense is definitely capable of stepping up and shutting some teams down. But then again, you look at their games against Auburn where they gave up 90 points in a 4-point victory. Or 82 in their blowout to Georgia. They just didn't play any. You look up in the matchup between LSU and Michigan. Both of those teams top 10 defenses. But will they start playing it? Will they start playing defense? Michigan held Texas Southern to 66. I like it. We'll see what they do today. We'll see what Michigan and their defense is able to do today against LSU. LSU got involved in a blowout against St. Bonnie, held them to 61. Oh, Nick Hill, like YouTube Premium? Yeah. Primetime Milk, yeah, watch every day. People release your free plays as premium. Probably. Hopefully their customers are angry when we drop a free play. Who shoots threes better? They're pretty neck and neck. I mean, they're even. 34 and 34.7%, but you give the 0.7% to USC all season long. Conference play record, USC was better from three-point range, 34.6 to 32.7 of Kansas. Threes is where Kansas struggled in conference play. Free throw shooting goes to Kansas, though. USC can't knock down a free throw to save their life. Ohio and Creighton throw the defense out of the equation in that one. Abilene Christian's got a top 25 rated defense, but you got to keep in mind, who they've been playing. I mean, granted, they just beat Texas, and they held Texas to 52, which is, a quality number. Chef Bayer says, I noticed you and the baby capper had the Bulls money line yesterday. That's funny. Juan says, Gonzaga better hope somebody beats Baylor. That's not a good matchup for them. I think Gonzaga would run over them. I really do. I think Gonzaga needs to worry about some other teams. Then, to be honest, I think in reality, Gonzaga's main opponent that they need to watch out for, which would be a Final Four matchup against Iowa. I think Gonzaga, if you guys remember correctly, they played on December 19th. Now, Gonzaga won by 11 in that one. And if I'm not mistaken, they won by 11 in that game. Super high scoring. And I mean, I get it. They were coming off, a big layoff as well, Gonzaga, which makes it even more impressive. But, I do believe, they had a 12-point victory over Kansas. I think Kansas would be live against them. Obviously, they beat West Virginia, but struggled. I'd have to say Kansas would match up well defensively. But Iowa, really, I think Gonzaga would handle Baylor with ease. I think Gonzaga would probably come in as a 7 point favorite if they're playing Baylor in a national championship game. Mixed Stroke says Gonzaga should be worried about USC. They have issues with size. That they do. That they do. I try not to put too much credit in my Trojans because every time they get they get a big game opportunity, they've let it slip away by free throw shooting. So I try not to. Now I don't have a play on the side of the the USC and Kansas game. I've got two good futures on it. But even if I didn't have futures on it, I'd probably stay away from this one. And we're going to break down the game. You've got the 22nd best offense in Division I with the Trojans, the 49th, the top 50 offense with Kansas, and then you've got two top 10 defenses going at it. Sadly, it would have been nice if the brackets lined up where Gonzaga had an opportunity to play both of these teams and get knocked off. If you ask me, if USC stays out of foul trouble and plays quality and knocks down free throws, North Ender, I do agree. I like what was put out today as well. I like what we put out for today. All right, so we're going to take a look at the games for today. We're going to take a look at some of the matchups. I don't think I'm going to be able to get them all done. Is Garza resting? Yeah, they're resting him to the Sweet 16. The line's coming down because people are betting Oregon. Money's coming in on Oregon late. We're going to take a look at that line. We'll take a look at that game. For the record, it's looking like there will be no live show tomorrow. If there is, it'll be late, but more than likely probably have a day off from the live show tomorrow. We'll resume on Wednesday. But I'll more than likely have a members-only video out tomorrow as well. But no live show tomorrow, just so you guys know. No live show tomorrow. So for everybody at work, I do apologize. You're going to have to get some work done tomorrow. But all your bosses called me, and they offered me a nice chunk of change to make you guys work tomorrow. So, I apologize. All right, so take a look at Oregon and Iowa. Game starting in an hour and 10 minutes. Pop up all that good stuff. Give me 1 second, guys. Edward says, resting Garza till they're out. Right? There's no load management today, folks. Matt says I should rush your work day for tomorrow. Sorry. Sorry. Woo. Any thoughts on the CBI game with Bowling Green? Nah, I stayed off of that one. Stayed off of most of them. Seems like players rest a lot. Maybe in the NBA, but in the NCAA tournament, unless they're injured, they're playing. Andre says, when will the Pac-12 lose? That is the question. Well, obviously there's that opportunity today. I mean, we got 4 teams going today, but I think it's today. I think it's today. All right, so jumping into them. Pop up those lines real quick. Get all that up and running. Oh, man, I'm still tired. DJ Ayers says Kansas for the win today. We'll talk about that Kansas-USC matchup. A little evening delight for us tonight. A little evening delight, prime time. A little late for Kansas, but that's perfect prime time for the Trojans. Shane says Pac-12 goes 2-2 today. You know, I can see 2-2. I can support 2-2. But I could also see 3-1, potentially. All right, taking a look at this one. First matchup featuring the Pac-12 Oregon Ducks going up against Iowa. Best team by far is Creighton, playing like a bag of ass. The Ducks. What can you say about the Ducks? Man, automatic first round advance past VCU. They haven't played since Friday the 12th. They haven't played in 10 days. I kind of feel bad for them. No game experience. They haven't been on that court yet. They're jonesing. They're ready to go. But out of every tournament team, Oregon is the freshest team, which is kind of scary. You know, some teams like UCLA have already played a couple games. Some teams, like their opponent today, already had a big game against Grand Canyon, and Grand Canyon tested them. The fact that, you know, they gave up 74 to Grand Canyon to GCU of all schools shows a lot about their shoddy defense. You know, taking a look at the side-by-side matchup, you got the number 2 offense against the number 13 offense all year long. You know, you've got two defenses that are rated, I mean, neck and neck, 60 and 61st. You know, with just a couple things in each category that separate each other. You know, take a look at the offenses. Both shoot, you know, similar numbers as well, within a percent or two of each other, you know, all the way down the road. Oregon knocking down 54.4% from the field, 54.9% for that of Iowa. When it comes to turning the ball over, this is where Iowa tops them on offense. Iowa limits offensive turnovers to 13.2%, which is second in the country as the lowest number. Oregon, 16.8, not a bad number there. It's not high. Offensive rebounds. Iowa gets the charge here, but obviously with guards and that big man, I mean, he's just an absolute freak. 30.7%, which again is still not a big number. Oregon, 28.4% offensive rebounding. When it comes to shooting the three ball, they're off by less than 1%, 0.9% separate them. Oregon on the low side, 37.9% success rate, 38.8% for Iowa. Converting those 2-point plays, slight advantage for Oregon, but not much, 0.3%, 52.9%, 52.6% for Iowa. When it comes to free throw shooting, both are above 70%, 70.4 for Oregon, 71.5 for Iowa. Two foul participation, Oregon's in it 18% of the time, 1.6 for Iowa. Not a big factor there. Height advantage overall on average per player, maybe a quarter inch per player on average for Iowa. But you got to keep in mind that big old 6'11 Garza is definitely going to account for most of that. When you're looking at point distribution, similar numbers there with the exception, Iowa definitely relying on the free throw a tad bit more at 17%. 17.5% compared to the 14.8% of Oregon. Iowa should take more three-point attempts. They rely on that three ball for a few percent more per game on average. Looking at going to the bench, they both go to the bench for roughly 30% of their total minutes played. Both got a fairly deep bench by players that are definitely capable to fill in when needed. But you got to take a look at the defense, and you're going to see very similar numbers. Very similar numbers. Very similar numbers on defense. Very evenly matched, except for Iowa on defense. They're holding teams to 46% shooting of all their 2-point plays. Other than that, the one thing that scares me on Oregon, obviously their center, Eugenia Moriori, is 6'6", 235, is going to be matching up against Garza somehow. Boy, is this going to be a mismatch. 6'11" Garza outweighs him by 30 pounds alone. They've got Kepneg, who's 6'11" as well. He normally gets about 11% of the playing time. I can't see Moriori coming out for Kepneg. I can't see them doing that for a size matchup. I just can't see it. Kepnag comes in for roughly 10% of the total minutes played. He'll get a couple minutes on average at that center spot. Not much. He's usually last on the list to come in. Nathan says it's hard to bet against the Ducks. Here's something you have to consider when you take a look at the Ducks. Reference their game against USC. Reference that 72-58 loss against USC. They played USC back on the 22nd of February. And they got their asses kicked. We all know USC's the on average, the biggest team that's out there as far as height goes. I think they're second, actually. Evan Mobley is 7 foot. The freshman phenom is 7 foot. His brother, the sophomore, is 6'10". Peterson 6'8", Isaiah White 6'7", Taj Eddy 6'2". And you take a look at how they played, they got torched by the big men of USC. If you look at that box score, Taj Eddy had 24 points. And Taj Eddy is always, the wild card for the Trojans. Maybe 1 second here. He's always a wild card. But they didn't even have his brother. Isaiah didn't even play that game. So that was just with one big. Granted, Peterson's 6'8", Goodwin's 6'9", who fills in. So the fact that Oregon couldn't hang with the big men of USC, maybe that was just a one-off. Maybe that was just a one-off. But I don't think so. Now, I know they beat or the Ducks beat Seton Hall in the beginning of the season. You know, and Seton Hall is absolutely stacked with big men. I can't even pronounce his name. Just call him Sandro. What is he, 6'11", the senior? Obigu is 7'2". You take a look at their game against Missouri. They lost to Missouri at the beginning of the season. They lost 83-75. Jeremiah Tillman, what is he, 6'10" or 6'10" or 6'11"? Kobe Brown, I know he's 6'7". Missouri, a fairly taller team on average than what the Ducks are used to. So how are they going to fare against the big man from Iowa? They've had trouble with, teams with a big man. That's the one part about Oregon that I don't like. They lost to the Beavers, who have Silva 7'1". So I think Oregon struggles, to be honest. And keep in mind, I don't have a dollar on this game. I really don't. I don't have a single dollar on this game. Iowa down to 4.5 at BetOnline -113, plus 4.5 for Oregon -107, which means you can get 5 at -117, plus 5 that would be. Over and under set at 148.5. Now, keep in mind, while I'm not on the side on this one, I call it a toss-up. How Oregon is able to be able to play against a big man of Iowa remains to be seen. Iowa's defense is a major liability. And yeah, the Ducks beat Seton Hall and their big man earlier in the season with Sandro, that 7'2" freak. But as far as this one goes, I do lean towards Iowa. I think they played the tougher schedule. I think they're the better team. I think even though their defense is ranked very comparable to Oregon, I think their strength of schedule was a lot tougher. Their defense was able to shine against Ohio State and shut them down. Jeff says, smart man. But I think the size of Iowa gets it done at the very end. I don't think they're going to be able to contain Garza. I think he goes absolutely off. I think he wreaks havoc on him. He had 24 points in their game against GCU. Yeah, J-Rock, I don't think Oregon has anybody to just straight out cover them. Unless Oregon pulled a wild card, which I can't see them taking on Maury and putting in Kepnag. Unless that's the case, I mean, he's going to be outsized by 40 pounds. I mean, they can make up the height. They can make up the height by putting in the freshman. Frank Kepnag, they can make up the height there. but he'll be out-muscled by Garza by 40 fucking pounds. 6'11", and you're only 225. Jesus, I'm 6 foot and I weigh more than this kid. But again, if Oregon decides to double him, somebody's going to get left open. And Iowa's got a sharpshooter or two. Alonzo, what's going on, my brother? So I do lean towards Iowa laying the 4.5. However, I do have a play on this one that I'm going to be putting up there. We'll be putting up on the board. Let me get this board turned on. Let's see if you guys can guess what I'm on. Let's see if you guys can guess what I'm on. While I put it up on the board and not show it just yet, let's see if you guys can guess what I am on. What just went up on the board? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. What do you guys think I just put up on the board? Look at you guys. You guys know I love to bet an over. You guys know I love to bet an over. But all you over backers thinking that I'm just going for the over. Nuh-uh. I don't take an under very often, but when I do, we're usually rock solid. Oregon, Iowa, under 148.5. Lock it in. Lock it in. Under. I know the defenses are shoddy. But I think they step up today. I don't think Oregon will be able to compete. I think it gets close. But ultimately, Pack, you did call it. You called it first. DJ Ayers says, damn, that's why I'm not the guy. Peck says, you never take overs that high. I have, from time to time. College basketball, I'm not a big fan of, the big overs, especially in a tough situation like this. Especially, in a tough game like this. Jeff S. says Oregon might not score today. 75-3 final? Mike, did it already go up? Oh, yeah, 149. You are correct. Let's fix that. You are correct. Thank you, sir, for pointing that out. I looked at the overside. There we go. You guys know I like to take that extra one, so we might as well. We might as well. Dan, no, not yet. Not at this time. Not at this time. Possibly. possibly in the future. Oregon probably keeps it close. I think Oregon keeps it within 15. Jeff's probably loving that claim right there. I think Oregon keeps it, within 15. 12 to 15. Honestly, I'm afraid to bet it, but I think Iowa just knocks their socks off. I'm afraid to bet it, but I think Iowa knocks their socks off. I don't think they could handle the big man. I really don't. I really don't. They've struggled so many games against teams with, teams with a big man. Oregon struggled. Jesus, yes, soccer, buy 3, get 3. Premium plays, buy 3 days, get 3 days free. My personal plays, buy 3 days, get 3 days free. Sale ends, as of now, sale ends tonight at midnight Pacific time. I don't know if it'll be extended or not. I'm going to ask because I know they didn't put it out. Normally they put it out, a day ahead of time, and it wasn't announced until this morning. There was a note on my desk. There was a note on my desk about it. Actually, the poll wasn't spinning, but we'll make it spin now. There we go. The poll's spinning now. Can't believe I forgot that one. Jay Landon says, Oregon lost to the Beavers. I think it was on purpose. I think they have looked forward to this for 2 weeks. Yeah, they're definitely looking forward to it. I don't think Oregon lost to the Beavers on purpose because they lost to them in the beginning of the season as well. They actually went 1-2 against Oregon State this year. They lost their first meeting. Cody Sanders, do I think Abilene Christian has any chance? I mean, it's March Madness. Look at the whack madness that's going on. Look at the crazy shit that's going on here. So, I mean, I guess technically anything's possible. Technically anything's possible. One second, folks. Nathan says a lot of 2-week rust with that forfeit to VCU. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Haven't played in 10 days. Edward, which one are you talking about with your comment? Never know. Maybe it's a paid play one, or he just likes the total better. One, I'm just afraid to bet it. It's actually not a paid play. I was very, upfront and honest about it. I don't have a dollar on that side. I don't have a dollar on that side. I might here in the next 40 minutes, but as I might talk myself into it the next 40 minutes. Might just say, fuck it, let's roll. Iowa money line. Right, Jeff? But as of right now, I don't have a dollar on it. I don't have a dollar on it. But I do like the under. All right, so real quickly, because I can't go. Thank you, Art. I appreciate that. Also, thanks for jumping on board. I saw that you jumped on board. My personal plays, Art. I'll be sending those over to you here shortly. Welcome back on board. You know, even when we go on bad runs, because we know what happens, we always take care of our own. We always take care of our customers and make sure everybody is making money. Art, I just sent you a text message, sir, letting you know it's me. And my games are coming in this one right here. But glad to have you on board. Texas and Iowa UCLA moneyline parlay is plus 116. Mr. Lambert, thanks for jumping on board the soccer. Anthony for jumping on board my plays. Glad to have you, brother. North Ender, we always do. You know, it's one, I don't care if it took me, not that I want it to, but if it took us a month or 2 months because you got dug in the hole, you know, we know bad shit happens. But we'll take care of you. Takes an extra day or 10 days. We'll take care of you. Joseph says Oregon something like 5-0 or 6-0 against the spread in the last 5 or 6 games as a dog in the tourney. Have a lot of guys back from the 2019 tourney. Yeah, but what happened last year or the year before, no bearing on this one. Every year is different. Every year is different. You know, so I don't put too much stock into, yeah, they're 5-0 or 6-0 in the last 6 or whatever games. I don't put too much stock into that. Last year's tourney was last year's tourney. Different brackets, different matchups, the whole works. What do I think about the CBI games? Today I stayed away from them. Bryant looked attractive against Coastal Carolina, though. The Bryant game looked attractive. I think they were +2. CT72 soccer, no. It's a light soccer day today, but no. Thank you, Real Champ. Appreciate that. All right, so the next one, real quickly, or actually Brian is +3.5 now, actually. Just talk, because I can't be live too much longer, but so I want to touch on some of these. The Gonzaga-Oklahoma game is an interesting matchup. Obviously, number 1 offense in Gonzaga. They've got the top, a top 10 defense as well at 7th. Oklahoma winning at the right time, 9-8 in conference play. They won 1 game against Iowa State in their conference tournament. They beat Missouri by 4. And in that game, they went 46.7% from three-point range. They went 7 of 15. They went off from out deep. They converted 40% of all their two-point plays, and they shot 79% from the charity stripe. Their defense sucks. They gave up 11 of 27 from three-point range for 40% from Missouri. Missouri was able to take 27 three-pointers. Watch out for Gonzaga. They knocked down threes at a rate of 37.3%. No problem, Jesus. Whenever you're ready, brother. Yeah, James. Premium plays, my personal plays, or soccer, all buy 3, get 3. All three of them. Premium plays, personal plays, and soccer. I'll buy 3, get 3. As far as this one goes, I think Gonzaga advances. Unless Oklahoma was to pull a rabbit out of the hat, I think they get beat. I think they get beat convincingly, but it is a tournament. I think they get beat convincingly, but again, this is another one where I don't have a dollar on the side. I don't have a dollar on the side, but I think there's going to be a little bit of a beatdown when it's all said and done. When it's all said and done, I think there'll be a beatdown. Joe Free, yeah, it's definitely been good to us. Soccer like this all week? No. Wednesday we've got World Cup qualifying. Some Spanish soccer. A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. Yeah, go figure. The Kings win yesterday, right? A lot of World Cup qualifying later in the week. Should be fun. Should be another good week of soccer. Might be a little unorthodox games in what you're used to seeing. But you know our guys will come in clutch for you guys. Lucky it was Iowa. I don't have a dollar on them, but they scare me. I might have a dollar on them here in a little bit, but maybe I'd be able to talk myself into it. Right, North Ender, tell the boss you're watching a show. If he's got a problem, to send me an email. Some more World Cup qualifying on Friday. Should be a good week. Should be a good week. I bet would they go? It'd be nice. 15-0 run would be nice. Lewis, no, I'm waiting for them to print out all the names. I didn't get them to print out all the names yesterday. The person that would be able to do that wasn't here yesterday. She's coming in a little bit. I'm going to have her print out the names, and I will do the drawing either in the video tomorrow. Yeah, Edward won. No, I'll either do it in the video tomorrow or I'll wait until Wednesday morning and do it live on the next live show. Probably do it live on the next live show. I do apologize. The lady that could print it all out, I wanted her to print out all names for me and put them in a hat, pluck out 3 names. So I'll wait to do that on the live show. There was a lot of names. I started writing them down. There was too many to write, so I figured just have her print out how many ever it was from the live show. 50, 60 or something like that. That put in the promo code. And we'll give away those packages. It'll definitely be for the next soccer game of the week, that's for sure. All right, so again, Gonzaga, I think they roll away with it today. I think they get a nice victory. Unless, Oklahoma pulls, a whack madness out of the hat, I think they get the job done. I think they get the job done. The UCLA Abilene Christian game, we've got plays on this one, so I'm going to skip over this one. I do apologize. We're going to talk, because I don't have much time to go, but I am going to talk about USC and Kansas. The line is down to a pick-em. USC was actually laying one a little bit ago. It's now down to a pick-em, and the money is coming in on Kansas. Kansas now minus $1.15, minus 105 for the Trojans for later on tonight. A little marquee matchup tonight for you guys. As far as this one goes, I'm going to take my unbiased opinion out of the equation here. I'm going to take my unbiased opinion out of the equation when we break down this one. As you guys know, I'm biased when it comes to USC. However, I've got a futures, bet on both teams. I've got a futures bet on both teams, so that part sucks. That part sucks because one of my futures is going to go down. But, give me 1 second, folks. Whoops. So, but here's what I want to know. Are you guys rolling with Kansas? Or are you rolling with USC? And post the reason why. Where do you think is going to be the big factor in the Kansas and USC game? If you've already broken it down and you're already on it one way or another, where do you think the deciding factor is going to come from? You think it's going to be that three-point shooting at Kansas? Do you think their defense steps up? Are they able to stop Mobley, excuse me. Where do you think the deciding factor will come in? Well, I pop up all the information to break down this one. Rich says USC because of size and because I hate Kansas. Good point. Steven says the Kansas defense. Now, are you worried, Steven, that they showed zero defense or lack of defense in their last game? J-Rock says, nah. To be honest, USC forgets about Mobley too often. I think that costs them. When you got Taj Eddy, it's very easy to forget about Mobley. But, man, use Mobley. And it would definitely be a big key to them having success. Joseph says, Trojans. I went on record 2 days ago to say Kyle's Trojans to the Elite Eight. If you guys remember correctly, the Mobley brothers decide this one for me. I do remember that. Jeff says, being an Iowa fan, I'd rather see Kansas in the Sweet 16. If we win today, that just means he believes USC would win, but he'd rather have Kansas there because they'd match up better against Iowa. Pax says USC, although I have a Kansas future. And I think it's their size. Alex says, because I'm a UCLA fan. That's... Steven, do you think they come to play with defense today? Drift Knight says the Kansas defense steps up. Never says the Kansas better coach. Hey, I can't disagree with you there. Coaching advantage definitely lies with Kansas. No doubt about it. I mean, Andy Enfield's doing a great job with what he's got at USC. Oh, Brent says, I lost every Kansas bet this year, so I'll take USC. That way the Trojans will take the game. Shane says it comes to turnovers. Comes down to turnovers. I think turnovers can definitely be a big deciding factor of that as well as free throw shooting, something USC does not do exceptionally well. Matter of fact, they do it extremely poor, 64.5%. Turnovers, they both turn the ball over roughly the same amount of time on offense. Defense, Kansas will create more turnovers. Joseph says, I honestly think the lack of practice and losing depth because of COVID will get Kansas today. I got the other part against Eastern Washington, but not the Trojans. Kansas defense was leaky on Saturday. Kansas defense was horrible. Let's be honest, Kansas defense was absolutely horrible. Harlem World, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Jesus, back-to-back sweeps in the hockey. We dropped one game yesterday. They'll bounce back with another one today. I think they go 2-0 today in the hockey today. All right, so USC and Kansas, as I said, it's down to a pick'em. It's down to a pick'em. USC moneyline minus 105, Kansas minus $1.15. Now the favorite, whereas Kansas was actually +1 just a little bit ago. So if you're back in Kansas, you're late to the party because you could have got a better line. Where's this game going to be decided? Is it going to be decided with that big man down low for USC? Or is it going to be one of these two teams' defense step up? Is it going to be free throws? Will a 64.5% free throw shooting by the Trojans fuck them in the long run? Or will it be enough to pull ahead? Will Taj Eddy have a great game? Will he be able to limit turnovers? Make great game day decisions? Protect that basketball when on offense? Make smart plays? Or is Kansas' defense going to step up? Is McCormick going to go off? Jalen Wilson? What about Marcus Garrett? They're going to protect the basketball as well. Christian Braun. Out of all the games we've had so far and potential matchups, this is my favorite of the tournament. Sadly, I've got futures on both, and I wouldn't mind seeing both advance. But I'll be honest, this is probably the marquee matchup of the tournament so far. No doubt about it, hands down. Hands down, this is probably the marquee matchup of the tournament. You've got a 3 and a 6 going at it for a chance to go to the Sweet 16. More than likely to play Iowa for a chance to go to the Elite 8 against more than likely Gonzaga. Nathan says it'll be a 1 to 2 point game. If it comes down to free throws, I do not like my money on the Trojans. I'll be straight up and honest with you guys. If it comes down to free throw shooting, I don't like the Trojans. If it comes down to any other aspect of the game, I think Trojans are live today. Be the biggest game that they've played in like forever. You take a look at their non-conference schedule. They lost by 3 to UConn. You know, they had a very weak early non-conference schedule. You know, the first 6 games. They really didn't get tested. You know, Pac-12, they've been tested. You know, they got beat by Arizona late. They got beat by Colorado late. They got beat by Utah late. They beat Stanford and UCLA to end the regular season. They beat Utah, ran into Colorado and lost by 2 to Colorado. They actually went 0-3 against Colorado this year. USC has been able to piss away big games. Trojans knocked down 52.2% from the field, the better shooting team. Kansas, 50%. USC knocking down threes at a rate of 34.7%. Kansas, 34%. USC beats them in every category, with the exception of free throw shooting, where they suck. Yeah, Joe, Iowa was 4.5 when we broke down the game at BetOnline. Converting their 2-point plays, Kansas 49.4%, USC 52.3%. J-Rock, I agree on that one. I cannot not agree on that one, that's for sure. McCormick, a big boy, 6'10", 250. When it comes to free throw shooting, edge to Kansas, 71.7% all year long. They went 72% in conference play. USC all year long, 64.5%. They did increase to 65.5% in conference play down the stretch. 2-foul participation, 10% for USC. This is where USC does get a major advantage in the first half, with Kansas in the 2-foul participation, 32.6%. Height advantage, definitely USC, 1.25 inches on average per player, with obviously the big Mobley kid. USC will go to the bench for 29% of the total minutes played, 25 for Kansas. You know, as far as this game, Lucky, coming down to free throws, if it comes down to free throws, you know, if it's dependent on USC knocking them down, they want to win, they're going to have to knock them down today. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You know, USC doesn't rely on that 3-ball very much. Just 25% of their total points. Is this a Coinbase? Oh, a Coinbase account? You open up a Coinbase account at Coinbase.com. As far as this one goes, I mean, let's be honest. As far as this one goes, take a look at the defensive side of things. You know, there's something USC does exceptionally well on defense. One, they limit offensive rebounds, but so does, you know, Kansas. But USC is holding opponents to just 41.7% shooting of all their 2-point plays. Something that Kansas already struggles at. Kansas is 0.4% below the Division I average at converting 2-point plays. The Division I average is 49.8%. And they're 0.4% below that. USC is holding teams to 41.7% conversion of all their 2-point plays. It's definitely something to watch out for, you know, USC. Look for Mobley to have some big blocks, 5-6 big blocks, and be definitely a monster factor down there on the defensive glass as well as the offensive glass as well. You know, USC offensive rebounding, 13th in the country, 35.5%. Yeah, Brent, I was aware. Lucky, appreciate it. You know, I've got a futures on both. I just hope whoever advances is able to take out Iowa, sorry, Jeff, and then Gonzaga. You know, AFGFG says Oregon will beat Iowa. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. That game getting ready to start in 20 minutes. Money line, Iowa, minus 205. The total still hovering at 149, minus 115 in the Oregon game. All right, so back to this one. As far as the side goes, if you guys made me pick, it's a toss-up. If it comes down to free throws, I don't like USC, but if it doesn't come down to free throws, I'll take the size and that two-ball defense that USC plays. USC is going to have to play a 100% perfect game for a minimum of 40 minutes. Minimum because, you never know. There might be overtime if it's a close game. But if USC wants to have a chance, they have to play a 100% perfect game. They haven't played many of them. They have not played many of them. But I'll be honest, this game tonight, the way the money's coming in, they'll be catching points. Before it's all said and done, I've got a feeling USC will be catching points. So if you're planning on betting USC, I would definitely wait. I can definitely see that line moving. I just went to a pick, minus $1.10 for each one. But I could see a lot of public money coming in on Kansas late. Alex says, I'll take the threes and the better coach. If you're taking the threes, USC's the better three-ball shooting team. They convert 34.7%, and they're the 122nd best three-ball shooting team in the country, compared to Kansas, who's ranked 156th and only knocking down 34%. So as far as taking threes, I'd have to say USC is a better three-ball shooting team, believe it or not. USC does everything on offense better than Kansas and more efficient, with the exception of free throws. That's the only thing that they don't do that they don't do comparable or better, and they're off by, 7%. So I do look for that. And also, first half, major advantage USC with the two-foul participation. If you guys don't pay attention to that stat, you guys are missing out. Two-foul participation, Kansas participates 32.6% of the time. They've been in trouble multiple times this year because of it, and USC knows that. And trust me, would not be surprised to see them try and exploit that and put a couple players in foul trouble if possible early. But again, I do believe that line will shift, and Kansas will be favored laying a point, if not a point and a half, before it's all said and done. So if you're going to be backing USC, I'll wait. I would wait. If you're backing Kansas, I'd probably take them now. Anthony says, I think USC has the better guards in this game. I think USC is definitely a stacked team this year. So, the problem with USC, guys, they just don't play 40 solid minutes. They might give you 30. But then again, we've seen the same out of Kansas. So whichever team plays 40 solid minutes, I think gets the job done today. Whichever team plays 40 solid minutes gets the job done today. That I do believe. That I do believe. Marlo, you're 30 days old for the Family Nation membership. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Luca, thanks for jumping on board. Mr. Wynn as well. Mr. Lovett as well, jumping on board my personal plays. Laura, thanks for jumping on board the soccer package. Luca, Mr. Wynn, and Mr. Lovett, I will send you guys my plays here shortly because we're getting ready to get off the live show. David K., yeah, Colorado is, a team that poses a threat, no doubt about it. If you take a look at, future opportunity, for instance, I don't know where you got, Florida State at, but I got them at plus 4,000 when I bet it. And it's one of my smallest futures, 100 to win 4,000. Obviously I could probably, hedge that today, but, a round two matchup, even if you just hedged it to break even, here's what you'd be giving up: 100, roughly, 100 today. You'd have to bet 200 in the Sweet 16. You'd have to bet 600 in the Elite Eight. You'd have to bet 1,800 in the Final Four. You'd have to bet 3,600 and change in the national championship, plus your bet, plus juice and all of that, you would be negative if you hedged, or if I hedged Florida State right now. So yeah, I really need them. You really need them, at a plus 4,000 to really make the Elite Eight or the Final Four to be able to hedge. Because you could even do 200 to secure double your money profit, in the Elite Eight. If they, obviously if they advance, now you're betting to win 400 in the Final Four. If they were to win, now you're betting, 1,200. Well, actually, no, you wouldn't be betting 1,200. You'd be betting 600 minimum to cover your 6 already invested. That would still give you double the profit, or 3,400 profit the other way, minus your hedges, minus juice and that stuff. So, Elite Eight would give you a better opportunity to hedge. Man, I got to tell you, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people if it's a Pac-12 national championship. Whew. USC and Oregon State. God forbid if it was Colorado and Oregon State. Oh my God, could you imagine? T-Step says Florida State and their turnover's not pretty. They definitely have to shore it up today. If not, they get taken advantage of. David, yeah, no problem. No problem. We really got to survive 2 more rounds in order to make, an opportunity out of it. I mean, you could do it in the next round if they win today, David. For instance, if if you did it just to break even, you could, but you'd have $1,800 on that, national championship game, hoping to break even or make $2,200. So depending on how much you put on it, you may just end up letting it ride, or starting in the next round, start hedging to, secure your original bet back. Shane says at this point we may be all surprised who's in the Final Four. I agree. Some wild and wacky shit going on. So again, I do lean towards USC if I had to pick one. But again, I'm glad that I don't. As far as, any of the other games, because I do have to run here, as far as the Maryland-Alabama game, I do lean towards Alabama. All right, folks. Edward said this a while ago, over a week ago, said 1976 was the last time Duke, Louisville, and Kentucky failed to make the tourney. Also, last year we had a perfect season. Yeah, David, you could start doing it tomorrow. You could start hedging tomorrow, but or not head tomorrow, but in the next round. But you'd have 100 to break even. Then you'd have to wager 200. So now you're invested 300. Then you'd have to wager 600. You'd give away all your profits. So you really need to advance another round or two. Jeff, enjoy. Where are you watching it? Westgate? And for everybody, go Iowa for Jeff. Although, I'll be honest, Jeff, as much as I think Iowa will win, for a matchup to go to the Elite Eight, I'm hoping it's Oregon. Sorry, buddy. You know, just like you're rooting for Kansas for a matchup against Iowa. You know, I think USC would dominate Oregon again. It's not Wisconsin. All right, folks, I got to run. Remember, Oregon, Iowa, under 149. It starts here shortly. A little bit lighter of a day today. No live show tomorrow. No live show tomorrow. We'll be back with a live show on Wednesday. No live show tomorrow. There will be a daily free play video. There will be a members-only video as well. And you never know. I'm working on something for the members for today. If I have it, I will let you know. But as of right now, there's no members video today, Juan. But check my Twitter or the YouTube community page in a couple of hours. If I get what I'm hoping, there will be something in the NBA for all members, all right? But as of right now, there isn't one. But as of right now, I don't have it. But if the information comes in and I can confirm it, which I believe I'll be able to, we'll have a members-only video as well today. Jeff, don't blame me. Yeah, I think, Iowa would roll all over USC, believe it or not. Steven Sanchez 3x3 expired today. As